Hello, YouTubes. Welcome back to James Recommends. Remember those days when you were young and you'd rent a video game and try desperately to beat it before you had to return it? You'd binge on it, play it feverishly for a few days straight, really just sinking into it before you had to give it back. Well, that's the feeling I got from today's game, A Risk of Rain. A Risk of Rain is a 2D platforming roguelike along the veins of Rogue Legacy, if you've played that, but with a lot of unique features. So what is awesome about it? That it has that old school charm of just being a game that you sink into for the pure joy of the play. And it's not long. It's not something that's going to last you months and months and months. But it's something that is incredibly compelling for a few days until you're driven to beat the thing. So A Risk of Rain is a project made by 2 students. This blew my mind when I found it out. Really sets the bar for student work. But it's got this beautiful world with an incredible soundtrack, and this feels like a vibrant, living alien planet that you're on. It has that sort of retro demake art that has a beauty to it, all its own. It's not modern, high-quality graphics or anything of that nature, but it was the right choice for this game, and the soundtrack that goes with it is as well. And so you'll find yourself just spending hours wandering through these half-dozen levels of this alien world, meeting all of its creatures and trying to find all of its loot. So one of the unique things about this game, one of the things that's interesting is, if you've played games like Rogue Legacy or many of the sort of more modern roguelikes, they try and give you progression. In old roguelikes, you died, you went back to the beginning, you tried again, a whole new run, right? Games like Rogue Legacy, between deaths, you have ways to level up your character to make the next run easier. Well, in Risk of Rain, how they approach this problem is instead they allow you to fundamentally change the random generator, create a better random seed for your next run through by having essentially unlockable powers and equipment that you can find throughout the game. But when you unlock them, you don't get them in the next run. You just unlock them for a possible thing for enemies to drop, which creates a fascinating dynamic. And because you're not guaranteed any of these things, each playthrough you have to adjust to what does show up. Beyond that, they chose a really interesting mechanic with regards to time. A Risk of Rain gets more difficult over time. And sure, that sounds like most games, but I literally mean over the number of seconds you've played. So every level is this incredible decision between, do I stay in the level as long as possible and try and get the loot and items and maximize how many things I've gotten here in order to be better prepared for the future levels? Or do I blaze through this level as fast as I humanly can so that way future levels are easier? And it becomes this balancing act, deciding at any moment whether it's worth looking for that one more piece of loot, or if you should just try and get to that exit as fast as possible. Alright, so what is terrible about this game? I actually didn't think there was much that was bad. I've heard the multiplayer is excellent. One thing that was terrible for me was that I could never get it to work, but that was some time ago, so who knows, they might have fixed that by now. Additionally, if you're looking for a game that's going to last you 1,000 hours, right? If you're looking for the sort of game where you're just going to sink day after day after day into it, this is probably not it, right? This is one of those incredible experiences for a weekend that you might come back to every now and then when you just need something to sit back and enjoy the mechanics of. But this really isn't that 40 or 60 hour experience. That's That's not what you're buying into here. So if that's what you're looking for, this is probably not the experience for you. But that said, if you're looking for that old, I just rented a game and have to beat it feel, if you're looking for something to just binge on for an entire weekend, well, then this week, James recommends A Risk of Rain. See y'all next week.